Alright everyone, don't worry if you didn't get that perfect city skyline shot. When we exit the islands, there is a prolonged photo-taking opportunity. The channel we have just turned down is called Long Pond. Fitting name, as this is essentially a long pond. It does span to be about 1 kilometer in straight length. So this channel is home to a lot of different boat races throughout the summer. The second largest dragon boat race in North America does take place out here. We also always have our Dominion Day rowing regatta take place through this channel. Long Pond is the perfect place for racing, as it is straight in length, and these trees on your left and right will do a great job of blocking out majority of the wind. So if you do look off on your left and right at these islands we're passing by, you can tell they're a bit more overgrown and unkept. That is because these are all wildlife conservation areas. So 4 of the 15 islands are dedicated to wildlife preservation. So we are not allowed to step foot on these islands unless we work for the government and have a permit to do so. These islands are in the flight path of over 250 migratory birds. 60 birds will call these islands their home all year round. Out here you will be able to find mute swans as well as trumpeter swans and cormorants. Up in this tree off on your right, those blackbirds are cormorants. They're all up there drying off their wings right now. Out here you can also find animals such as white-tailed deer, muskrats, coyotes, even a few beavers. Now you might be wondering, how does an animal such as a deer get out onto an island? So we are in a body of fresh water. So in the winter when it gets cold enough, these channels will freeze over completely. When they freeze over, this creates a bridge for animals such as deer to use to get to and from the islands. When the ice melts, any animals left out here will be out here all year round. The government does come out here about once a month to check on them, and since the islands are closed off from public use over here, there's not really too much that's going to affect them. Another really popular animal out here on the islands is the Canada goose. There are about 10,000 Canada geese out on these islands, a lot more than what really needs to be out here. So Toronto did decide to try and combat this issue by sending in the natural predator to a goose, which is a raccoon, because raccoons in the wild are known to eat geese eggs. They, however, took raccoons from the city that are accustomed to eating garbage. So now not only is there a goose problem on the islands, there's also a raccoon problem. No need to worry too much, neither one of those animals will really give you too much trouble as long as you stay well away from them. We are now just going to circle around Forestry Island. Forestry Island is off on your left. It is one of the conservation areas out here. This is where a majority of the white-tailed deer have been seen. This is also only one of 2 islands out here in Toronto that is completely surrounded by water. There's no footbridge that connects it to anything else, no docking area, essentially no way you can get onto that island. Off on your right, this piece of land we pass by is technically an extension of Hanlon's Point. It's a great example of the flooding we have out here. The island usually doesn't look like a swamp. The water's about 2 feet higher than where it should be for this time of year. We had a similar problem out here 2 years ago in 2017. This time 2 years ago, the islands were actually completely closed off from public use. So we haven't had to do that again this year. We're really hoping the water will slowly begin to go down. As we make this turn off on your right, you can see this brown low-lying building really close to the shoreline. That is the elementary school out here on the islands. So 2 of the 15 islands are residential. They're home to about 700 residents. They're located on the most eastern half of Wards and Algonquin Island. So if you are living out here and have a child, they will obviously attend this elementary school. But we do also have quite a few harborfront condos. Plenty kids living down in that area will also attend that elementary school, as it is the closest one to them. So they do get to take the public ferry every morning to get down to school. In the winter, they'll use our ice-breaking ferry to get down here. They've even been dropped off at the airport runway before and taken a bus the entire way down, so they do get a pretty interesting commute every day. bit more exciting than taking the bus. That elementary school does, however, only go up until grade 6, so once all the kids are past that age, they then commute into the city. Little interesting fact about our islands, not too many people know this. There's actually a recording studio out on the islands. It's called the Gas Station. It's located on Hamlet's Point. If anyone's familiar with the band The Tragically Hip, Gord Downey did record quite a few of his songs out here. After he did, a lot of local Toronto bands decided they wanted to come out here as well. As we turn back into Long Pond, you can see this set of red bleachers off on your right. Those are the grandstands. They do mark the finish line for any boat races that take place out here. Now the grandstands do usually have a docking area. It's completely underwater right now. That's usually where we do our island stop about halfway through the tour. And the grandstands did flood in 2017, so last year they were actually going to tear them down and completely rebuild them. Good thing they didn't, because the dock flooded again. This white bird off on the right close to the shoreline, that is a mute swan. We can tell it's a mute swan because its bill is orange. And mute swans are actually a completely mute bird. Their necks are so long that they can't produce any sound other than an extremely low hissing. Now this island that we pass by off on your right throughout the entire length of Long Pond is Center Island. This is the most popular out of our 15 islands. There's enough seating out on Center Island to accommodate 10,000 people. On a nice weekend in the summer, we find anywhere from 15 to 18,000 people out on this island alone. Center Island is home to Centerville. This is a kids' amusement park. There's also a petting zoo as well as botanical gardens out here. Center Island does also have quite a few places you can rent canoes and kayaks from, as well as little power boats. If you did decide to rent a canoe or kayak, you could go in and around all those conservation islands, get an up-close look at the wildlife we have out here. Our islands are also home to quite a few different festivals throughout the summer. We've had Festival take place out here. This is a UK-based music festival. Every long weekend in the summer, we host an event called Electric Island. This is an electronic dance music festival. There's actually one that was supposed to take place next weekend. It's been canceled due to the flooding. It was intended to be held on Hamlet's Point, but no one's allowed out there right now. Not too sure if the one during Canada Day weekend will be able to take place. Really depends on if the water starts to go down or not. So we're now just heading down a new channel. This one is called Deep Pike Cut. Bit of a misleading name, as this channel is not very deep. It's actually the most shallow channel within the islands. You can, however, find quite a few pike and other fish in these waters. There's about 30 different fish species that can be found within here. And it is perfectly legal to fish within our islands. It's only $15 to get your fishing permit for the day, $70 to get your permit for the season. And you are also allowed to keep any amount of fish that you catch while you're out here. Now, as we head down this channel, you'll notice off on your right, we pass by a very large collection of boats. So this is the Toronto Island Marina. We have 2 marinas as well as 3 yacht clubs out here within the islands. Now the main difference between a marina and a yacht club is simply the price tag. It's a lot cheaper to keep your boat docked out here. And there's no specific look or style that your boat has to have. As long as it floats, they will dock it for you. Another really big difference is that marinas can actually accommodate onboard living. There's about 200 people living out on their boats on this marina this summer. Now if you think they're roughing it, they are not. Everyone out here has access to electricity, running water, and internet, as well as laundry and shower facilities. There's also a bar and restaurant out here on this marina called the Upper Deck. It is open for public use, so if you are on Center Island, it's only about a 10-minute walk down here. This black-hulled boat off on your right that we passed by, this is called the Pathfinder. It's a former U.S. Army boat that has been transformed into a houseboat. The man who lives on it does live on this boat all year round. Most people